Have you ever truly reflected on the obstacles preventing you from becoming your ideal self? More importantly, have you considered that the most profound personal transformation often involves subtraction rather than addition, the quiet removal of life's non-essential elements? Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus consistently highlighted that much of human suffering stems not from external events themselves, but from the unnecessary burdens we willingly shoulder: ingrained habits, crippling fears, festering resentments, and persistent illusions. Today, I'll guide you through 10 specific areas of life ripe for silent elimination, done without explanation, warning, or apology. This isn't about seeking external validation or conforming to societal expectations. It's about achieving genuine personal liberation, a journey inward to find your true self. Remember to subscribe to the Mental Dose channel and join our Telegram community for early access to future videos and exclusive insights into personal and spiritual growth. Let's begin. First, eliminate the mask you wear to appease others. We all, at some point, create these masks, personas we adopt to feel accepted, avoid rejection, or maintain a superficial sense of calm. These masks manifest in countless ways: the seemingly flawless employee who never expresses dissent, the agreeable friend who forces a laugh at unfunny jokes, or the meticulously crafted online persona projecting an image of unwavering success and happiness. But each mask we wear pulls us further from our authentic selves. Seneca wisely cautioned that true wealth lies in living authentically, in accordance with our inherent nature. While concealing your true self might ensure social survival in the short term, it leads to profound spiritual starvation. In our modern world, the pressure to conform and perform is amplified by social media's relentless demand for flawlessness. Workplaces that often prioritize conformity over individuality, and families that may subtly, or not so subtly, pressure us to maintain identities that no longer reflect who we truly are. Shedding these masks, however, triggers a powerful transformation. Those who genuinely value you will remain, while those who don't will gradually fade from your life. Though letting go can be painful, the subsequent liberation is incredibly rewarding. Eliminating the mask requires courage, as authenticity may cost you some external approval, but it always and inevitably restores your freedom. Secondly, release the debilitating habit of procrastination. The Stoics repeatedly emphasized life's brevity and preciousness. Marcus Aurelius famously wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Yet, we consistently postpone action as if time were an inexhaustible resource. We delay pursuing dreams, engaging in crucial conversations, and prioritizing personal growth, often convincing ourselves that tomorrow will be better suited for action. But procrastination is insidious. It silently steals our most irreplaceable resource, time. Each delayed action represents a day irretrievably lost, a missed opportunity. In today's fast-paced world, procrastination often disguises itself as productivity. We spend countless hours on emails, inconsequential tasks, or aimlessly scrolling through social media, convincing ourselves of our productivity while meticulously avoiding the tasks that truly matter. We resort to escapist activities like binge-watching to avoid the discomfort of initiating something meaningful. Genuine discipline, however, involves taking imperfect action in the present without the need for external motivation. Eliminating procrastination isn't about tackling everything simultaneously. It's about focusing on the single, next necessary step, today. Because tomorrow is a promise we may never be able to keep. Third, break free from the chains of the past. Memories possess the power to imprison us. Past failures, betrayals, and humiliations reverberate in our minds, shaping our identities in ways we often overlook. Epictetus perceptively noted that it's not external events themselves that disturb us, but our interpretations of those events. This means the past doesn't hold a living, active power. Its influence endures only through the meaning we assign to it. The chains binding us aren't the events themselves, but the narratives we continually tell ourselves about them. In contemporary life, these chains manifest in countless ways: the fear of pursuing new relationships after past setbacks, the reluctance to pursue dreams due to past mistakes, or the relentless self-criticism stemming from childhood wounds. By consciously reframing these past experiences, we liberate ourselves. A failed job becomes a valuable lesson in resilience. A betrayal offers insight into human nature, and rejection serves as a potent reminder that self-worth is inherent and not dependent on external validation. The Stoic practice of journaling, mirroring the meditations of Marcus Aurelius, serves precisely this purpose, transforming wounds into wisdom by actively rewriting the meaning assigned to past events. Fourth, liberate yourself from emotional dependence. While the desire for love, acceptance, and validation is natural, when our peace of mind hinges on the actions of others, we surrender control over our lives. Epictetus taught that true freedom arises when our happiness is rooted in aspects within our control, our thoughts and actions, not on external factors. Emotional dependence transforms affection into addiction, where the absence of the other feels catastrophic. Modern relationships often conflate love with need. Individuals relentlessly seek constant reassurance from partners, likes on social media, or validation from supervisors. But dependence is inherently fragile. When others withdraw their attention or affection, we feel worthless. Eliminating emotional dependence doesn't mean isolation. It involves cultivating inner stability so that relationships are chosen out of abundance, not necessity. A truly stoic partner, friend, or colleague is not someone seeking completion in another. They are whole individuals choosing to share their wholeness. This is the foundation of love built upon genuine freedom, a love that is strong precisely because it's not needy. Fifth, let go of imaginary future problems. Anxiety is essentially the anticipation of pain. The Stoics recognized this as one of the mind's most destructive tendencies. Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, "If you are pained by anything external, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your judgment of it." A significant portion of the potential disasters we relentlessly rehearse in our minds never materialize. Yet, the very act of imagining them imbues them with a sense of reality, stealing our peace of mind. Today, anxiety has reached epidemic proportions. We lie awake rehearsing job interviews, fearing economic collapse, and worrying about potential health issues that may never develop. Technology exacerbates this with the constant barrage of news, worst-case scenarios, and comparisons that fuel feelings of insecurity. Eliminating imaginary problems doesn't mean ignoring potential risks. It means focusing on what we can directly control and act upon in the present moment. Instead of trying to predict the future, strengthen your capacity to adapt to whatever unfolds. This shift from prediction to preparation transforms fear into resilience. Sixth, relinquish resentment. Resentment is anger stored like a weapon, but one that wounds only its possessor. Seneca wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." Time invariably reveals that clinging to resentment alters nothing external, but corrodes us from within. To resent is to shackle oneself to the very thing one seeks to escape. In modern life, resentment often lingers in workplaces, families, and friendships. Perhaps someone received credit you deserved, or someone betrayed your trust online. Resentment thrives in the form of outrage and endless arguments. While anger might feel justified, it consumes energy that could be invested in personal growth. Eliminating resentment isn't about excusing wrongs, but about reclaiming your peace of mind. Forgiveness, in the Stoic sense, isn't about forgetting. It's about releasing the past's hold on you, ensuring that your present and future remain unburdened and uncorrupted. Seventh, dismantle the illusion of future happiness. The belief that happiness resides solely in achieving the next milestone is one of humanity's most enduring and deceptive illusions. The Stoics rejected this notion. For them, happiness, or eudaimonia, wasn't a prize to be earned, but a condition cultivated by living virtuously. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Contemporary advertising and culture propagate the opposite, that happiness lies in accumulating possessions, achieving promotions, or accumulating achievements. Yet, when these goals are attained, satisfaction is fleeting, and the cycle begins anew. Eliminating this illusion requires a radical shift in perspective to view happiness not as a distant destination, but as a daily practice of aligning our values with our actions. Gratitude, integrity, and mindfulness become the true wellsprings of joy. This isn't complacency, it's liberation from the endless, exhausting race for external validation. Before we move on to the 8th point, if this video has provided you with any fresh perspective, please share it with someone who might benefit. And if you wish to support the creation of content like this, please use the Thanks button below. Your support makes a significant difference. Now, let's continue. 8th, release the weight of constant justification. How often do you feel compelled to explain yourself? Why you changed careers? Why you ended a relationship? Why you live differently from your peers? Epictetus wisely advised, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." Constant justification erodes your resolve, shifting your focus outward to the opinions of others instead of inward to your own values. In our hyper-connected age, justification has become a reflexive response. Social media encourages us to explain, defend, and validate every decision. But the Stoic path is one of quiet strength, integrity without the need for applause, and conviction without the need for external approval. Eliminating the need for constant justification means reclaiming your energy and focusing on your inner strength. Let your actions, your peace, and your progress speak louder than any explanation ever could. 9th, eliminate destructive habits that erode your body and mind. The Stoics believed that the body and mind are inextricably linked. Marcus Aurelius disciplined himself through exercise, reflection, and simplicity, understanding that weakness in one area inevitably affects the other. Poor habits, sleep deprivation, overeating, excessive distraction, and self-criticism gradually erode both the body's vitality and the mind's clarity. In modern life, destructive habits are ubiquitous. Endless scrolling prevents restful sleep. Processed foods sap energy. Negative self-talk undermines confidence. Eliminating these habits isn't about pursuing unattainable perfection, but about cultivating self-respect. Every small improvement, a full night's rest, a balanced meal, a mindful pause is an investment in resilience. The Stoics didn't view discipline as punishment. They saw it as freedom. Freedom from impulses, freedom from weakness, freedom to live with strength and purpose. 10th, abandon the habit of criticizing others. Criticism often serves as a shield to avoid confronting our own shortcomings. It's easier to point out the flaws of others than to address our own. Epictetus reminded his students, "Don't concern yourself with what others do or don't do. Concern yourself with what you do or don't do." Criticizing might feel momentarily empowering, but it yields no personal growth. Today, criticism is pervasive. Social media thrives on judgment. Gossip fills workplaces, and families often normalize pointing out flaws. But every ounce of energy spent criticizing others is energy diverted from self-improvement. Eliminating this habit doesn't mean remaining silent. It means redirecting your focus. Instead of dwelling on what's wrong with others, ask what you can strengthen within yourself. This shift transforms judgment into responsibility, and responsibility into personal transformation. True freedom begins not with adding, but with removing. Eliminate silently, and let your actions speak louder than words.